coached before we left Australia, and then over there in the States every month we had to attend a meeting in the embassy, and our ambassador at the time, when I went over there, we had an ambo. I can't remember his name because he was writing his life story. He was writing a book. So, and this was his last posting. So, because of those two reasons, he wasn't at all interested in doing his duty.
Oh dear, that's a pity.
So he got to the stage that he decided that he wanted to come back to Australia and complete his book without the duties. So he resigned, and because it was mid-term, the government hadn't selected his follow-on.
Oh.
So for about 18 months of our stay, we had no official ambassador. We had the consuls, so any high official on that would have to be handled by the various consuls, and that was a bit awkward.
Seems a bit of a whirl.
But it's a funny post, these ambassadors, the posts that they have.
Seems to be quite a strict hierarchy in the embassies too.
Oh yes.
You were there not actually as part of the embassy staff, but you just worked from the embassy.
Oh no. Yes, we were. Yes, we were. We only had terms.
Okay.
But foreign affairs, they usually had the service folk had a 2-year time,
Right.
and I think the foreign affairs did too.
Okay.
But the service, but in our term was 3 years.
Okay. And so what, you were there representing, or Dad was there representing the Department of Supply?
He was there working for Defence
Defence.
But he went there as the representative for armament and explosives.
Oh, okay. So he was the only one? There was a team of people from armament and explosives?
When we went there, he had a fellow over him, Terry O'Brien, and he was a very tall man. He came from Melbourne, and he was such a laid-back fellow. He drawled, because there are 2 accents in Melbourne alone.
Okay.
It's very, very funny. When you live in a country, you don't know the various accents within that country. You think we all speak Australian, but we don't. We really don't.
Okay.
And Melbourne is a prime example of that. There are 2 accents. One of them, how you going, and this way, and they're laid back. They're not very reliable people, I don't think. The other one are prim and proper. Entirely different, and that's Melbourne.
Right.
Now, we had a fellow called, what's his name? Oh, his wife, Dalton. They were both not very tall people, and he was all right, but he came from one part of Melbourne and she came from the other. So she would, oh, how you going? This way like that, oh yeah. And he was quite chipper.
Sure.
But she took on, she was like Sequoia, but she wasn't as clever as Sequoia. She did quilting.
Sure.
And I remember going to some woman in a different embassy's house, not far from where we lived, and she was there. Pam Taunton was there, and she'd done a sewing course, and she'd made some lingerie and underwear. So we're walking up the street to go to our cars after the afternoon tea or lunch or whatever it was. And she wanted to show me the petticoat that she'd made for herself, and she had it on.
Oh dear.
So instead of looking around to see if there were any onlookers, no, she just pulled up a dress and showed me this thing.
Oh dear.
And of course, we had like consulars' wives and that, and they had chauffeurs, so that they were there in their livery, and And I looked over the road, and there was this beautiful big car with a fellow dressed up with his cap and all in grey, waiting for his mistress to come out. And he was right in the line of vision. And there's Pam Taunton showing her. Oh, Gloriana. That was Pam.
Oh, dear.
But
you'd probably find that in Sydney too, though.
oh, no doubt. Yeah. Oh, there's many. Well, yeah, people come, but Queensland accents are, they're the banana benders. They're very slow. But
I
Dad,
that it used to intrigue me because when I was before, a few years before I was married to Ellen, spent a fair bit of time in the eastern suburbs.
Oh yes.
Yeah, because I was over in Randwick and around there, and
yes.
So people came from all that sort of neck of the woods. Oh, I used to find the accent over there a bit tiresome.
Oh, putting on the airs and graces.
Well, yeah, and the thing which was interesting was you'd have people that weren't native to the place.
Oh no.
But they would pick up the accent because they were, sharing a house in
yes.
Rose Bay or something. And oh dear, I found that a bit hard to take.
Well,
but you do find just an interest in speaking well.
Well, no, you're not taught elocution or poetry at school anymore, I don't think. And I think that does a lot for your diction, and it is not a good thing. But, yes, but it was amazing because Dad, of course, he was a slow speaker and precise, and he was taken by many of the Americans at conferences as being Bostonian.
Really?
Yes. They would not believe that your father... I suppose he had an American twang as well by this time. Not when we arrived, but it was during our course of time there. And, yes, this was an interesting thing.
Good on him. I think I told you when I was in Wales at the youth hostels. Did I tell you about that?
No.
I've been travelling around. I did the Asia trip and ended up in
Oh,
England.
that's right. You went over by truck and you went through nasty land.
Well, I sort of hitchhiked across England into Wales, and I was staying in a youth hostel there. And that was all very nice, and I just, doing all the normal things that you do. The youth hostels, you do, it's a kitchen, so you can cook and...
Yes, community.
Nice stuff. One evening, I'm there washing up, and I just washed up a whole pile of stuff. It was not just mine, but other people were there, and that's kind of a nice thing to do. So I'm there washing up this huge pile of plates, and there's this lady there, an English woman, and we're just talking generally, and she's saying, "Oh, I so much like to stay in youth hostels when I travel. You meet such interesting people." And she says, "Would you believe? You see those two people over there? They come from Australia." And I'm thinking, oh, really? That's unusual, isn't it? That's a long way away.
Did you ever tell her that you were?
No.
Oh, okay, well, Linda and I, when Linda joined the Girl Scouts, not long after she had joined, there was a camp. This was going on to winter. We moved into our house in fall.
Yeah.
And so I remember having to clean up jolly leaves because we had like a Canterbury woods behind us. It was a very pretty backyard. We had a little sort of a waterway with a bridge over it as well.
Nice.
And then these the plenty of deciduous trees, and the backyards backed into each other. There was the block behind, and of course they were all deciduous, and we don't have the colours over here, nor does the UK. The colours there's a painting in the hall there, and it looks vivid, but they are definitely the colours in fall over on the east.
When I was travelling, I went to...
Oh, you went to the UK?
Yeah, into Steubenville. So
yes.
I had to go to Pittsburgh, I think.
Yeah, well, that's in the middle of it all, yes.
And that was in autumn.
Yeah.
And I remember being amazed because we're driving... I had this long-distance taxi to go from Pittsburgh to the town that I was in. And it's spectacular, just having an entire forest.
Oh, exactly. All different shades.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
Some of them are just bright red, aren't they? And yeah, absolutely amazing.
You never see that in Australia.
Oh, never. No. And then Skyline Drive would go from DC right up where Jefferson had his house. There's a university there. I've lost it. I've got it all in diaries. And and Linda's got on one diary, The Travels of Evo. But the Skyline Drive goes up the sky, and I've told you about the walkway that went right down to Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, the Skyline Drive follows that round as well. So we would always take guests, visitors up, and Fred and Laurel, they loved the USA. They stayed with us, and I took them to Jefferson's house. I can't think of the name of it, but he was the one that invented the revolving door. This is what I was told, and he had it in the front of his home, like the front entrance was a revolving door. That's what I was told. I joined a society called the Welcome to Washington, and it was set up by the senators and high-ranking government officials in DC for embassy wives, because a lot of them were lost. You know, they were there on posting and their husbands were busy, they were away on travel 80% of the time, and so these well-meaning ladies set up this club, and they had 14 interest groups. You could join them as many as you liked. I joined the history and stately homes and a couple of others. Carmel and I joined these, and we were taken to mansions that weren't open to the public, but only open at certain times, and that's why, you know, it was just wonderful.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
It would have been a really rich experience. I mean, if you'd lived there, working, you know, as a, I don't know, sort of representative or an agent for some Australian company,
yes,
you wouldn't have seen
no.
hardly any of that.
Oh, no, none. Like when Leonie went over there with her
That's
husband,
right.
she'd had none of that, you know, definitely not. So she would have been at a loose end.
Because that's when you would have spent a lot of time with the service people, like the army wives and the.
Yes, once a month we had the Defence Wives Luncheon.
Mm-hmm.
But because of Carmel, you remember Carmel came, her husband deserted her, and but she was higher than me.
Yep.
So she was entitled. It all depended on your rank, how much furniture you were entitled to rent.
Yeah.
And I think you knew that one.
I think you told me about that. Yes.
And so she was entitled to a piano. And I was entitled to a Traymobile. And so many chairs in the dining room. 10 chairs, I think it was in 2 carvers and 10 chairs, that's right. The carvers are the arm chairs.
Ones at the end, yeah.
But I wanted to bring my dining room suite back home. It was magnificent. Something in that style, but LED light with all lights in it.
Wow.
Oh, it was magnificent. And carved chairs and beautifully carved table. And we must have been well liked because Alberstein was the owner of the firm that we got our furniture from. And he put on a dinner for us when we were going.
Oh, that's sweet.
Oh, yes. We had extra, you know, the Americans gave us, and even the leader of defence, he was an admiral. We had a party at his home.
Wow.
None of the others did, up till then, you know. But, at any rate, yeah, so I had a lovely time there in the Welcome to Washington.
Because you've done a little bit of, I mean, just the normal domestic kind of entertainment at home before you went. It wasn't as though you were doing big time dinners and stuff so much before you.
Oh gosh, no, and I've never been out of Australia, of course.
Yeah.
But I was schooled before we went, and I had to learn order of the ranks of
Really?
various services, and then that you never spoke about religion or politics, and but it was very hard going and representing Dad.
Sure.
But I had to do it so often, and I'd front up at a cocktail party. I think I told you this. And
and trying to spot the English speakers.
Yeah, yes, and then I'd sort of sidle over near them, and yes.
I guess it's doubly difficult when you're representing your husband, but there'd be an awful lot of what Dad was doing that he couldn't tell you.
I know, no.
And so you just have to be a pretty face in a way.
Oh, yes, but you remember in the defence, yeah, but we're not service folk.
Sure.
And, yeah, but it was all right to say that he was an engineer, but nothing else. And, of course, I still don't know. Well, when we went back that 7 weeks, he did a lot of things that I have never found out. Because Alan Callaghan has said a bit, because Dad was working in the ACT at that time, and he also, part of his duties was to sell the some of our fighter planes, to the American Coast Guard.
Oh, okay.
As surveillance. They were past their worthy time for combat.
Right.
So there were 14 planes, I think, that Dad had to... Well, I only knew about that towards the end of his life.
Wow.
Well, that wasn't that secret. But other things I still...
No, I just think that's quite a range away from managing a munitions factory.
Oh, yes.
Involved in a munitions factory.
Oh, yes. Oh, it was. He never liked being in Canberra because he never liked sitting behind a desk. He liked being in the manufacturing side of it.
Sure.
But he was active all the time. But it was quite a wrench when he had his heart attack. The major one he had in the hospital. I don't know if you knew that, but he had a heart attack, and that's when you and I went and took him to the hospital on the Friday night.
Okay.
But then he was in cardiac care, and luckily all hooked up. And on the Saturday he had a massive heart attack. Had he not gone to hospital and that happened at home, he wouldn't have survived.
Dear.
And that was when the day of damage was done to his heart.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think it was his determination, like my mother. The determination to stay alive. Yes. That's why he stayed alive so long. But it was interesting over there. It certainly was. It was so different. And the climate was so different. We had the 4 seasons. And all around us, springtime was absolutely out. And you get that in the UK too. So you went over to the States mainly in which season?
I only got as far as Great Britain, so I went to England and Wales, and I didn't get any further. I didn't go up to Scotland. By the time I got there, I sort of lost interest in travelling.
Oh,
To a
yes.
certain extent,
Well,
Europe, and especially England, was too much like home.
exactly.
After you'd been,
Exactly.
off in ancient ruined sort of stone cities in the back of India or Afghanistan or whatever.
Oh, yes.
You hop on a bus in London and you think, well, I may as well be sort of in the eastern suburbs of Sydney.
Exactly, yes.
And and as well as that, because they wouldn't let me resign from the water board, I knew I had to go back some point. And so those two, I just couldn't bother being on the road anymore, really. So I just went back, and I thought, I was thinking when I went back, I thought I'd work in Sydney for a while and get my cadetship out of the way. And then I had in mind that I would like to work doing some sort of aid, maybe a UN assistance or what have you, and in Africa.
All right,
I
okay,
thought it'd be good to do that for a year or two.
Stormy time.
And experience of really live in a alien, like a completely different culture. I wish I had actually. It would have been, I guess, something like what Das and Cyril were. And
Oh,
Caesar were.
yes,
That,
yes.
you're doing something
Wonderful.
useful.
Exactly.
That your skills really are contributing to the local area, and you're amongst it. Not just going as a tourist.
That's right. No, well, going as a tourist is a bit of a nonity.
Yeah.
That's nonentity.
Yeah.
And because you just walk through a place and you show this and you show that, or you see this and but you don't. You've got to live in a place.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you've got to live with the people. I'm a great believer in living with the people.
When we were doing the camping trip, it was probably about as close as you could get to that as a traveller.
Yes, you were very fortunate getting through that time.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Very fortunate we got through, that we were let in, and we were let out, and we weren't
Exactly.
shot along the way.
Exactly.
And you're sort of young, you don't notice the gravity of some things. I think I told you, in various places, in Afghanistan, the Russians were invading, and we didn't know it. And you'd be driving along the road towards some little village, and as you got closer, you notice that, you'd be driving along the straight road, and there'd be a couple of soldiers sitting, lounging around, because there really wasn't very much happening, with this great big machine gun pointed at you.
Oh, dear, yes.
Unfortunately, they weren't pulling the trigger, but the thing about it was just, I think, oh, that's sort of interesting. Quaint kind of culture here in Afghanistan.
That's right.
But we didn't realise how rough and tumble the place was, and the difficulties.
You were very lucky.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't long after that you couldn't get through.
No. In fact, we were the first into Iran after the Shah was deposed, and we would have been about the last into Afghanistan before all the Russian bother. So it was a very special time. Well, I mean, special, but just coincidental.
Oh, of course, I understand. Well, did I tell you that I went to the Persian embassy?
No.
Oh, well, with Welcome to Washington, see, people from all embassies, women, were represented.
Sure.
And so one of the Ambo's wife, actually, she put on a luncheon.
Oh.
So we were in the group that looked after like the history and culture, and that was one of the groups, or two of the groups, culture and I don't know. I've forgotten the terminology of the different groups. Wasn't interested in health and beauty. It didn't interest me at all.
Had enough of that. You didn't eat anymore.
Oh, no. Oh, that's true. But I wasn't interested in the like the tapestries and things like that.
Sure.
Sort of things. And of course we were so close to the Smithsonian. It was wonderful. Wonderful places. Wonderful things. Have you been to DC?
Yes, I've been to a couple of them.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And because Linda, part of her qualifying for this silver trefoil was to teach young children. And so she would go in, for quite a while, on a Saturday morning, and she had a lot of kids. And I think it was science or whatever, and she would lecture them in this section of the Smithsonian, whichever building it was. I'm not sure now, of course. But, it was fantastic. But at any rate, so this particular time, we went to lunch at the Persian embassy. What a place! It was magnificent. And we had, of course, the Persian food, the olive leaf,